Welcome to part 28 of the 2023 NFL Draft and Review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Atlanta Falcons draft class. And I'm not really overly sure at first what to really make of this. It looks a lot like some of the other classes in the NFC South have looked, in the sense that the Falcons seem to be just kind of plugging a few gaps and hoping that'll make the team suddenly blossom into something great overnight, but I really think that they're still in a position where they need to do considerably more than this. And so that'll bring us to the first selection, running back Bijan Robinson, which is a pretty good example of what I'm saying. This is the sort of pick that definitely could really help this team or prove extremely frivolous, because they had Cordell Patterson, Trevor Allgeier last year, so it's kind of hard to see the absolute need for him. But then again, Patterson is 32. There's really no way I think he has much left in the tank. And Allgeier, well, he had a pretty decent, first season there, 1,000 yards. The only 4 touchdowns there kind of subtracts a little bit for it, but regardless, the Falcons look like they could have a pretty damn good, two-headed running attack, and then you've got Patterson for other, gadget plays and things like that, so this could be a very fun offense depending on how things go. Or they're going to end up playing Tyler Heineke because Ritter sucks. That could be an option. But in college, Bijan was pretty damn good. 1,518 touchdowns in, 1,500 yards, almost 1,600 yards, and 18 touchdowns in his final year, 1,111 touchdowns before that. So they've got a quality player here, I think. And in spite of the concept that running backs really shouldn't be selected in the first round anymore, I don't agree with that. Well, yes, you're not going to get an Emmitt Smith kind of guy anymore. You can get a running back who will last a while if you just manage him correctly. Christian McCaffrey is a good example of this. The Panthers were running him way too much, and he was getting injured. It's very simple. You've got to know how to manage the kind of running back you've got. A guy like Derrick Henry can take more than a guy like, say, a Saquon Barkley. It's one of those deals. You got to know who you've got, use them to their fullest extent, but not overwork them to the point they fall apart in 3 seasons. So we'll come over here and take a look at Bijan Robinson. Put that on the full bigger screen mode.
Sanders is not that. Keelan Robinson in motion. The carry to Bijan Robinson. How does he do it? That's Houdini. Slipping, sliding, and finding 6.
He disappeared, and then he reappeared, in the end zone.
Sanders in motion. Robinson trying to follow his blockers, reversing field. Robinson, stutter step. Robinson turns on the Jets, and Robinson is in. Touchdown number 4.
Out of the pistol, it'll be Robinson, and he finds a running lane. What a sweet move to the second level and beyond. Touchdown, Bijan Robinson. 42-yard run.
I'm liking his vision of the field so far. Running backs that know how to make cuts to slip through holes is really what I like to. There he goes again. Finds the hole, touchdown.
Slowing it down. Back to Robinson. What a burst.
Pounces it outside, accelerates, and he's in.
Again. Bijan Robinson has scored.
Robinson. Flag is down as he crosses the goal line. Robinson having a 90-yard drive.
Stick with the hot hand. Robinson busted to the outside, and he's gone. Touchdown, a 17-yard score.
Second and long. Handoff, right side run, and out into the open along the sideline. That's Bijan Robinson, who stayed in bounds.
Good bit of balance to stay in bounds on that one.
A little more experience to help out Kelvin Banks. And when you do it right, it leads to that. Bijan Robinson set up by a block by Jordan Whittington. And for the first time this season, Bijan finds the end zone. First snap to Roshan Johnson. Gives it to Bijan. Bijan thinking house.
That's just crazy.
Bijan Johnson.
First down and long. Card, sideline. Throw! He's got it! Robinson! Down at the 20. 43 yards, and they're in field goal range. That's a beautiful design. They got the matchup they wanted. Bijan Robinson on the outside linebacker. Dallas Turner down that right side.
Card now behind center. Flanked by the running backs. Bijan Robinson, open hole. And
Yeah, the way I see it, I see Bijan Robinson a lot of the way that I saw Saquon Barkley. I see the capacity to be one of the best running backs of the generation here. I don't see field vision like this very much. He just hits holes that a lot of other running backs I've seen in this class, they would miss, they'd get tackled, they'd maybe get 5 yards at the most. This guy has a lot of potential, and given the situation for the Falcons passing game, this isn't that bad of a selection. You're going most likely with Desmond Ridder, which is a risk because Ridder did not do too much last year. Your backup options, Taylor Heineke, who, well, he isn't that bad of a quarterback, isn't really somebody you want to commit to. There's a solid chance that the Falcons' passing game is not going to be very good this season. So having a tandem like Allgeier and Bijan, this could be really entertaining to watch. Might end up being pretty damn good for the running back market, which is in the goddamn toilet right now. So I like this selection. Next pick on the board is offensive tackle Matthew Bergeron from Syracuse. Though it is saying that they're listing him at guard, and I'm pretty sure the Falcons have their starters here, so I'm a bit interested in how Bergeron's going to fit into this picture, so we're going to take a look. Personally, this says left tackle, so pretty sure that would be him over here. And that would kind of just imply to me that he's potentially going to end up just going back to man and tackle. So, we'll see. Engages when one arm's on him. The guard comes over to help, so you can kind of break off from that. But 2 plays getting some guard help, but yeah, if the other one can't get around the corner. He pulls, engages next level. Pretty much keeps 24 out of the play there. That's what I like seeing. You play till the whistle. He's going to keep that guy inside. Pushes into the guard, then engages the other guy. That's another move I like seeing. The ability to push off and then pick up the next man. yeah, I'm not really seeing the logic of moving this guy over to offensive guard. It's an easier position to play, more for him to put his talents to use for the running game, which is obviously, maybe yeah, actually, I think that's the idea. Taking a guy that probably would make a pretty good tackle, putting him at guard, maybe replacing one of the, the weaker of the two starters, and letting him help the run game, because the run game is probably going to be the focal point for the Falcons this year. So I can, after thinking a little bit, I can see the logic of moving him over. So next up is defensive end Zach Harrison. I regard this as a potential future replacement sort of player. He's most likely not the starter right now. They've got their starters for this spot, but they are veteran guys that have been in the league since like 2015, 2014. They're getting, a little up there in age, so there's good potential that for a team trying to win, getting younger could be a good idea, and that's where I could see Zach Harrison eventually slipping in after a couple of years, but hopefully he'll take that time to become a better pass rusher, because really both these categories aren't that good for a D lineman. So, come back over here. Take a look.
From his own end zone. Again, ball's in the air, and it's a score.
Leah, as he escapes to his right, you see Harrison just kind of lands on that knee, has a knee brace.
Petrus looking in trouble. Petrus goes down.
Lost
it. Can Ohio State get it?
Downfield and get the ball out. Look at that. He's out of there before. He can release that ball before anybody pops open on a third. Defensive line's got to protect better. They strip the ball out, though, and then the mad rush to get on it, and the Buckeyes are able to get their second turnover.
Find a matchup win. It's tough against this Ohio State defense, and now they're just teeing off in the pass rush, and Clifford is trapped behind the line.
He had a pretty good game last week against Nebraska, and they need a defensive lineman to emerge. You can see right there he's got quickness.
Play fake. Morgan in trouble. Stripped. Loose. Picked up. Ohio State's got it. Catch. Trying to break up a domestic dispute. Harrison gets it, and then here comes a big man.
And how about that bounce? It goes right up, like right into his gut, right? Right place, right time.
Blitz. It's a four-man rush again. Thornton, they're trying to run for it. And he gets stood up at the 41-yard.
Watch Ohio State zones it off, and the pass rush. Thorne tries to climb, and it's a great fallback by Jean-Baptiste.
We need that kind of magic again today. Tuttle taken off again, being chased and tracked down. Bruce lost
His speed. Former track guy. Nice replay. Get outside, set the edge. Look at the big man. Get out and run.
We do. Thomas spins, and it stops short. Quick penetration from
Scott Frost is trying to cultivate.
Mills right into the teeth, and you can see Ohio State.
Yeah, I'm standing by what I said here. I do regard this as a player that, after a year or two of being coached up to a better level for the NFL, I think there could be a pretty solid replacement for one of the veterans as they get old and it's, comes time to replace them. So this is another pretty solid selection for me. That's a player offers some value, not right away, but could very well end up being very valuable in the future. So next up we have 4th round cornerback Clark Phillips, and this guy's got an uphill struggle if I've ever seen one. While the Falcons, I wouldn't say, have a lot of good corners, they've got a lot of experienced corners that can be hard to overcome. They've got, I think it's like AJ Terrell, Jeff Okuda, Mike Hughes. Pretty sure one or two of these other ones have seen some pretty significant playing time as well, so off the bat, you're up against some guys that haven't really proven to be good, but have been on the field more than you have in the end. So it's one of those sort of odd positions to be in. You can beat them, but it's still going to be hard to do it. So, his first 2 years are not too impressive. The amount of tackles in his second year do raise a bit of concern to me. 61 is high for a corner. He seems to do very well with returning balls, because 4 pick sixes out of 9 interceptions, and then he just kind of goes nuts this last year. 6 picks, 6 deflections. This says to me that he's doing considerably better catching the ball now. They were seemingly throwing at him a lot less, because that tackle number went way down. He started to offer a bit more, a tiny bit of value in the run defense pass rushing game. So it's one of those things. This could be one of those kind of late round corners. This could be maybe not a problem solver for this defense, but maybe somebody quarterbacks will think twice about if he gets on the field.
Blitz, one more than you can block.
Garantano intercepted by Phillips.
That is a bad throw.
Phillips down the sideline. The freshman cuts it back. Phillips for the end zone. Touchdown, Utah. Took until the second half of the final game of last season to keep that streak going.
Here in the second quarter, Smith and Jigba's wide open pitch and catch. Loses the ball. Rolling in the end zone. 200 yards. Stroud pump fake. Looking for Fleming in the end zone. Under.
There was no reason to bite on the fake. He saw a little shoulder from...
A late pull and a fire down the sideline. And
We saw it earlier with a DB from USC getting into the body, and he does just enough. In the country.
Play fake for Nix. He'll throw toward the corner. It is incomplete.
That is robbery. Check the feet. Oh, they did. Hang on, I want to go back on that one. Yeah, it looked like you got the feet in, so I think that's an interception in the NFL, too. That's just robbery.
Yards.
Real good on his feet.
Side, it's picked off. Clark Phillips, what a play.
Corners being two of the best in college football. And Clark Phillips, big time play, right on time for the Utes.
with 1 on the play clock, Williams to throw to the wide side. It's Addison, incomplete, and Clark.
On the season, #1 in America, and he sees it. He studies the splits.
I think that was Jordan Addison, a player that I've seen and liked quite a bit. So there's somebody I like he can cover.
Now he's going to throw it, and it's picked. It's going the other way. DTR is trying really hard to find Clark Phillips. He won't. It's a touchdown.
And a short throw by Jones.
Now, I will say that some of these throws are mistakes that most quarterbacks in the NFL just simply are not going to make. But the fact that he can catch these balls, the fact that some of these deflections aren't interceptions purely because he didn't really see the ball coming, it's just... This says that this could be one of those steal sort of players, so... I'd keep an eye on this one, especially in a reasonably weak secondary like Atlanta's. This guy could emerge. I think he's got the potential to do it. And if he does, I think the Falcons could very well have stumbled into a long-term starter here. Another solid pick. So their 5th selection is safety DeMarco Hallams from Alabama. And this one is something that I'm less enthused about because it says they're going to put him at strong safety. That's a spot that they seem to already have a pretty good batch of players, a clear-cut starter, a clear-cut backup, so I'm kind of questioning Hallam's fit in all this, but overall, though, pretty good tackling safety. Doesn't get a lot of interceptions, not really a lot of pass deflections either. So he's more in the tackling game, probably, than the passing game. So we'll take a look and see.
And here he is again. This time on the ground. He left it on the ground, though. I think he was down. No, he wasn't. The umpire says Alabama takes over. We'll take another look at it. At the time when I called it, I thought he was down.
A fumble recovered by the defense. First down, Alabama.
I don't think so now.
I think it was at Helms that also forced the fumble.
2nd and 5. They bring pressure late. Rodgers is knocked down again. That was DeMarco Helms, who's having a...
I'm not coming. And then at the last second, he blitzes. Marks tries to pick him up. He goes right through. Think of the anger that...
Tigers 1 of 5 on 3rd. Pressure again. Daniels flips it short, but knocked down immediately as Josh Williams by DeMarco Helms, and the Tide. It's 2-down territory with 9 to go. Ashford down the middle, broken up at the goal line or at the 1-yard line by DeMarco. And they bring out the field goal unit to try to get something out of this drive.
Robinson, the pistol back. He changes formation, play action, Card steps up, delivers deep. Can he get there? Incomplete. Whittington
By Helms. Good ball by Card. Look, this was thrown on the money, but Helms is right there. Just terrific coverage from the safety. An excellent job.
Tries to get it quickly. It's incomplete. Delivering the hit was DeMarco Helms, who had an...
on the ball. He's had a rough week after what happened against Tennessee. Anticipates that quick slant. That's great preparation by Nick Saban and Pete Golding and DeMarco Helms.
this late in the year where they're almost mathematically out of it since 2010. You look at the last 12 seasons, and when you're playing in late...
Johnson trots out as an extra receiver to the bottom of your screen. Blitz is coming on Jefferson. Down the middle, in and out of the hands of his intended receiver.
Yeah, I'm not seeing too much that isn't what the Falcons already got, so I'd assume that that Helms is going to be competing for the backup or third string spot for the position they're going to put him at, so that's really the first kind of frivolous pick of this class, but it's a 7th rounder, so it is what it is. That brings us to the final selection, another offensive guard, Jovan Gwynn. And obviously this is just a pure depth stuffer sort of a player, so we'll see what they got going on here. He seems to have a pretty good bit of power and speed behind him, so I would kind of see this potentially as one of those later round, you might get him in a game or two every now and then. He might not do too bad. So that's one of those interesting picks of don't really expect him to do much, but maybe just keep a slight eye on him just to see where he ends up in the depth chart, because if he ends up as one of the backups, there's a chance he could play, and those guys have a habit of kind of messing me up. These ones I figure, depth piece, and then 3-4 years later, they're starting. So that's good. Bring it to the end of this class, though, and I would say the Falcons did a better job than what I was anticipating going in. This kind of says that they are starting to kind of get their feet under them again, but a lot of this A lot of whether this works or not is going to come down to quarterback. If Desmond Ridder isn't it, then what do you do? Because, like I said, Tyler Heineke is acceptable, but do you really want to roll with him full time? And if the team does improve, you're probably not really going to be in a very good draft position to get a replacement option here. So I think the Falcons are going to be one of those interesting teams of, I think their future is really just going to come down to how Desmond Ridder does. Otherwise, this draft is going to end up looking pretty frivolous by just getting a bunch of potential pieces that are helpful but don't offset the fact that you can't throw the ball. But, like I said, they got Bijan Robinson, that's a starter right there. Matthew Bergeron, other potential starters. Zach Harrison, Clark Phillips, probably future starters. And then you've got the depth guys, and I would give Gwynn a bit of a chance, like 3, 4, 5 years down the road. So, all in all, I'd give this class I would say this is about an A class. This is helpful for a team to get. So, but it does have that little pinch of salt of just they need good quarterback play, because otherwise it won't matter. So that is going to do it for today. Leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit the notification bell to see when I upload next. Share it with your friends, follow me on Twitter if you like, and I'll see you probably Tuesday morning for the San Francisco 49ers.